Hi everyone, and welcome back to From Drift to Direction. So I was flying home from a sales meeting a few weeks ago. I'm standing at the gate, and this woman taps me on the shoulder. "I'm sorry, but you smell really good." That's what she said. I instantly laughed. I wasn't expecting that. "Thanks." I pointed to a new fragrance that we are launching next month. We talked for a minute, easy conversation, nothing special. Then she asked, "So what do you do?" And I froze. Not because I didn't know, because I genuinely didn't know which answer to give. Do I say regional sales manager, a real estate investor, a podcaster, a life coach, travel company owner? And the weird thing is, none of them felt wrong, but none of them felt complete either. I have been thinking about that moment a lot since then, because it was not just awkward, it was revealing. I was not confused about what I do. I was confused about which version of myself I was supposed to present. And I started wondering, how many of us are walking around like that, carrying all these different versions of ourselves around, wondering which one actually gets to exist in the world, not sure which one is the real us. I have been wondering if maybe the thing that keeps people stuck is not really about not knowing what they want. It's more like we feel like we have to stay loyal to who we used to be, like we owe it to ourselves or something. And that loyalty, it just keeps us from becoming anything different. Maybe that's not it. But standing there at the airport, that's what I felt. Like I was supposed to pick one version of myself and stick with it. And I couldn't. So that's what I have been sitting with lately. What happens when you give yourself permission to evolve? What happens when you stop expecting yourself to stay the same? Let me tell you what I have been noticing. So let me start with a story about what happens when you finally become the thing you thought would complete you. A few years ago, I became a regional sales manager. I need you to understand, this was the big promotion, the one I had been working toward for years. I had spent years grinding for this moment. Early mornings, late nights, optimizing everything. So when I finally got the call, I remember thinking, okay, this is going to change everything. This is going to change my whole life. Like I genuinely believed that once I had this title, I would feel somehow different, more confident, more certain, more complete. I thought I would wake up on the Monday morning and just know I had made it. And then Monday morning actually showed up. I'm sitting at my desk, coffee in hand, ready to step into my new identity as a regional manager. I open my inbox, 37 unread emails, and I remember sitting there, scrolling through this endless list, thinking, wait, this is it. Like I had spent years working toward this moment. And the big reveal was more emails. Don't get me wrong, I love what I do. I have learned so much from managing teams and building strategies and leading people. But I think I expected it to, I don't know, complete me or something. Like I thought becoming a regional manager would answer some question I didn't even know I was asking. And it didn't. It just gave me a bigger territory and a lot more emails. So here's what I learned. A title gives you responsibility. It gives you the authority, but it doesn't give you, I don't know, whatever it is you think it's supposed to give you. That was the thing I didn't expect. Here's another one. Couple years ago, I closed on an investment property. It had taken months. Closing day arrives. I'm signing papers, initial here, sign here. Then I walk out to my car. I sit down in the driver's seat, engine off. I just sit there, waiting to feel something, excitement, relief, pride. That moment where it clicks and you think, yes, this is it. And all I can think is, cool, another mortgage payment. I realized that night that money doesn't fill the void you think it will. These versions of me were supposed to be chapters, not the whole book. I was in Rome a few years ago at a coffee shop. I sat next to an older man. He was just sitting there, watching the street, sipping his coffee, not working, not checking his phone, just being present. And I remember thinking, how does he have time for this? It was the middle of the week. But he looked content. At some point, he caught me staring at him and smiled. He raised his cup a little. I raised mine back. I had flown across an ocean, paid for a hotel, scheduled this trip months in advance, just so I could sit at a coffee shop and do nothing. And this guy, he just lived here. This was his Tuesday, and I think about that a lot. I paid all this money to come here and figure out how to just sit with a coffee. And he just does it every day. So let me tell you about starting this podcast, because I think this is where it gets vulnerable. I had been thinking about it for months, waiting for the right time, waiting until I felt qualified. But really, I was just scared. When I finally decided to record the first episode, I sat at my desk with my laptop open, microphone plugged in, and I kept thinking, what if this is a mistake? What if people hear this and think, who does this guy think he is? I'm a regional manager. I sell products. I manage a team. I'm not a podcaster. I'm not a thought leader. I recorded that first episode probably 5 times. Each time, I would get halfway through and stop. But eventually, I got through it. I edited, I uploaded the file, and then I just sat there, staring at the publish button. My cursor was hovering over it. I would click and then pull back at the last second, like my hand would not let me do it. And the whole time my brain is spiraling. What if people think I'm a fraud? What if they realize I don't actually have my life together? But then I thought about something else. I thought about all the conversations I had been having with friends, with people I coach, with myself, about feeling stuck, about not knowing what is next. And I realized if I'm having these conversations, other people probably are too. So I closed my eyes and I clicked publish. It was done. It was sent. A few days later, someone sent me a message. Someone I didn't know. They said they had listened to the episode and they said it made them feel less alone. And I just sat there, reading that message over and over, because I realized something. I had been so focused on what people would think of me that I forgot why I wanted to do this at the first place. I didn't start this podcast because I had all the answers. I started because I didn't.